The Boston Symphony Orchestra is now streaming a new work written by two musicians and friends in response to the racial violence happening throughout the country. The piece, for horn and harp, is called "Listen to the Cry of Your Fellow Man." Gentlemen, thank you both for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I'll start with you, Gus Sebring. This started with you. Tell me about the impetus for this composition.
Well, I was sitting down to warm up at home in my studio shortly after the George Floyd murder, and feeling very melancholy and quite upset, I guess. I turned around to the keyboard and began just improvising and playing a chord progression. I keep my studio ready to record at all times, so I just hit record and recorded this thing. It was just a way of sort of pouring out my emotions at the time. Shortly after I heard it, I guess I was thinking about Charles and how wonderful it would be if he was playing the harp instead of my keyboard part.
Well, Charles Overton, here Gus reaches out to you. You have a relationship as friends, a student-teacher relationship as well. What did you hear when you first heard his piece?
Yeah, I guess the first thing that I'd say I heard was honesty. I was pretty deep in thought about, all the things that were going on. And when he sent this example of him playing the horn and the keyboards, I was just like, wow, this is the first thing I've heard in all of this that just is so clearly from the heart and is so present in the moment and is not seeking to be anything but what it is. In all honesty, it brought me out of a place where I was like, I'm excited to make some music again, to make some sound, to lean into these feelings in a musical way.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, how it was to start your contributions to it. I have talked to a lot of artists during this pandemic, and I get a lot of different answers. Some people say it's really, really hard to work. Some people say it's impossible. And then others say what I'm hearing from you both, that they find a way into it.
Right. I mean, from my perspective, it was just super easy because, again, the sound that Gus was creating was so honest. It was so easy to find my own voice inside of it, my own way to support his beautiful horn playing. So for this specific collaboration, yeah, it was just like butter.
Well, Gus, I'm really interested in what you said about, as you're watching this all happen, you just inherently turn to music. I mean, what does this tell us about you or perhaps musicians in general, that is the outlet that you need in a time of crisis and anxiety and stress?
Well, I guess I believe that the musical language is so full of nuance. And you know how there are phrases in other languages that cannot be translated into English. I feel like so strongly that music speaks on such a deep level. And, when this piece just sort of appeared, I was more shocked and surprised than anybody, but I did feel like it was a release of tension of sorts, but yet the start of a conversation. And immediately I thought of Charles, and I thought, this just sounds like Charles should be playing this. So, yeah, and I feel like that really started this conversation, and it's not so much a conversation that we need to have in words, but a sense of deep communication that we get playing with each other.
So, Charles, how do you describe what your contribution to the piece became?
I guess what I felt like I was bringing in a personal way or a musical way was just this, and I guess it was present from the beginning as well, but just this spirit of improvisation and being in the moment. I felt like it was an opportunity for me to just bring my whole self in a way that I don't know that I had before.
And Gus, I see you nodding. So when you started to get these elements back, what did you hear?
Well, I mean, I feel the same way about it. It's one of those pieces that just is not is not any work at all to play. It purely feels like speaking or something, or singing. I mean, I feel like there's almost no style of music, as long as it lies well on horn and harp, which is a great combination, by the way, then there's nothing that's outside of our musical palette.
Do horn and harp inherently come together? Charles, I'll let you feel. You gave me the thumbs up, so I'll let you field that one.
I was just noticing just the way the instruments fill the space together is just so natural, and it's a wonder that it's not a more common combination.
Listen to the cry of your fellow man. The title, who came up with it?
I guess I did.
And how did it come?
So I really just thought that listening, both on a personal and a societal level, was going to be something super important for us to do as just as human beings, and that especially at that time and still today, just to listen to those voices that might be a little bit more difficult to hear, that have not been heard, or even to go so far as silenced, in the past.
I understand there's an unresolved nature, a deliberately unresolved nature to the composition. Tell me about that. Again,
how it just sort of ended up, and I assume that that's just a product of my emotions at the time that it poured forth. But when I thought about it, I thought it really is a question in my mind whether people can truly be empathetic, and whether whether there is a cruel streak in humanity that's required to do an us and them scenario, or whether we can get past that in some way. And so that's, I think, what lends. That's what the questioning nature of the end of the piece, where it sort of tapers off that way. It ends in the Lydian mode, which is sort of a not really settled, almost major, happy, but not. There's something that's still sort of sharp or unresolved about it.
Well, it was wonderful to listen to. I thank you both, Gus Sebring, Charles Overton. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.